Hi there, welcome to Switch Mania. I am Clarence and today we'll talk about the best Nintendo Switch games on sale. We will be covering the UK, EU, US, Australia, and Canada eShop. But first and foremost, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you want to see more of this series, please leave a like. Remember to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to receive future notifications. Likes and subscriptions help keep the channel alive. First on our list is Nova 111. Nova 111 starts out fairly simple, but the difficulty creeps up on you as enemies, environmental hazards, and survival tools become more complex as you progress. Finding a happy medium between a tactical combat simulator and a light and simple strategy game. Depending on your level of experience and confidence, you may get quite far before things get complicated for you, but I'd bet that most people will feel the sting of a challenge at some point as the game becomes more difficult. The further you progress, the more minor errors or hesitations can cost you. Nova 111 isn't perfect, but it's a good choice if you want a mix of action and strategy at a reasonable price. Next is Blizzard Arcade Collection. The Blizzard Arcade Collection is more than just a faithful re-release of the original games. It also includes a polish that makes the three classic games look better than ever. People who are new to the game no longer have to keep hitting their heads against the wall to learn how to play thanks to rewind and save states. Even better, the tome of special features and developer interviews demonstrates how much Blizzard wants this collection to be a true historical document, which too many classic game collections lack. I would gladly recommend this set to anyone, even if they haven't played the originals. Next up, Crash Bandicoot and Sane Trilogy. The Crash Bandicoot and Sane Trilogy is like a good, old Chardonnay. It combines an excellent remake of three classic platform games with the adventures of a well-known character into a single package. This collection should excite anyone who owns a Switch. The Crash Bandicoot and Sane Trilogy includes three enjoyable platforming games that have been completely remade for the Switch with only minor changes. The unification strategy in the first game makes it more difficult to play, but Cortex Strikes Back and Warped are fantastic. Because of the minor changes, the Switch's graphics style and performance are excellent, making this an excellent addition to the handheld's library. Next is Diablo II, Resurrected. Diablo II Resurrected faithfully recreates the classic PC experience. The gameplay is as close to the original as you can get, and while the new graphics are stunning, the most important thing is that you can still kick some demon butt. Some of the game's mechanics are a little dated, which may turn off new players, but Diablo II, Resurrected is a fantastic choice for dungeon crawler fans or those who simply want to play one of the best PC games of all time again. Diablo II Resurrected makes the game more enjoyable than ever. The visual improvements are significant, and even after 20 years, I still enjoy how tight the game is. I wish more changes had been made to improve the quality of life in this remake/remaster. Some of the issues that people have with a 20-year-old game could have been resolved with a few more minor changes. Next up, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. Despite being difficult and time-consuming to complete, Crash 4 manages to be both a direct sequel to the original 90s trilogy and a modernized reimagining of the franchise. It has the potential to be the best Crash game ever made. Overall, if you like the version that came out earlier this year for consoles and want a portable copy, you should get Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time for Nintendo Switch. It performs admirably on Nintendo's system, and the manner in which it handles everything may surprise you. This is probably the closest we'll get to Warp for people who haven't played Crash before. Fans of the original Crash should get it as well, even if it isn't quite Crash with all the bells and whistles. Next is Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Spyro Reignited Trilogy is an excellent homage to a classic video game series. It keeps what made the original games great while updating them for the HD era. The game has a few creaky parts that show its age, but this is because the developers tried to be as accurate as possible. The Switch version looks stunning and plays surprisingly well, so if you're looking for a classic 3D platforming game, you should definitely check it out. Spyro Reignited Trilogy is still a lot of fun. If you've been dying to play these games again for years, I believe they'll live up to your best memories. If you're new to the series, like me, you'll quickly realize why it was so popular in the first place. Next up, Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled. Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled is my favorite kart racing game on the Switch. It's even more enjoyable than Mario Kart. The game's emphasis on tight, hard, skill-based play rather than luck was a welcome change of pace. Plus, it looks great and contains a lot of information, so there isn't much else you could ask for. At this point, the only real issues are the lengthy loading screens, Activision's addition of microtransactions, and the occasionally broken multiplayer. Because of this, it's not a perfect game, but it's still a good one, especially since it's currently on sale. Nitro-Fueled is a fantastic racing game and a fantastic new take on an old favorite. Its gameplay rewards players for their skill, and the fact that players keep returning and improving is a big part of its success. Next is Cattails. Cattails is a small indie game that is surprisingly polished and well made for its size. The controls are simple, the game works well, and the graphics are bright, colorful, and cute. Again, it lacks the detail of some other open world games, and fighting is a little too easy. It's entertaining to converse with other cats, but there could be more ways to respond. Overall, the gameplay is enjoyable and could easily consume 20 or more hours of your time if you let it, but you still have 8 more. If you like Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, or just cats, this game is nearly perfect. Next is Lair of the Clockwork God. Lair of the Clockwork God is a fun off-the-beaten-path adventure. It has great comedy and a lot of entertaining puzzles. The platforming has flaws, but the game is still a lot of silly fun. If you want to laugh a lot while controlling 2 rival friends on a quest to, I guess, save the world from certain destruction, check out Lair of the Clockwork God. If Lair of the Clockwork God wants to, he can make you feel real emotions. It's a well-balanced mix of point-and-click adventures and 2D platformers. This is one of the most significant games, as well as Ben and Dan's masterpiece. Next up, Thomas Was Alone. You probably already know if you need to get Thomas Was Alone because it is a 2013 package of a game that reportedly sold 1 million copies. If you have a Switch and haven't played it yet, you should download the demo right away. It's a fun way to learn about how games work, and anyone with an interest in games should go. The entire game is a few hours of fun platforming with excellent graphics and a compelling story. And, as a throwback to a time when independent games were popular, Thomas Was Alone is a delight. The game can be completed in a few short sessions, and Bithel's commentary is a kind of meta-narration that will make you want to replay it if you haven't already. In short, Thomas Was Alone was a good game when it first came out, and it's still a good game today. Next is Super Tennis Blast. Super Tennis Blast is not a perfect game. Because there aren't many extras, the matches, locations, and opponents can become repetitive after a while. After all, it's difficult to stand out when everything is so straightforward. But that doesn't change the fact that this tennis game is solid and well-made. Super Tennis Blast won't blow you away, but it doesn't have to when compared to its competitors. Simply being good is enough to distinguish it. Super Tennis Blast is a fun arcade sports game that stands out from the crowd. Despite being a little rough around the edges, this tennis game deserves to be on the Switch alongside Mario Tennis Aces. It has a fun multiplayer mode and an intriguing career mode. Next up, Super Volley Blast. Super Volley Blast is mostly a local multiplayer game, but it's a good one with enough of a single-player story to be entertaining on its own. If you want to have fun with your Switch friends, you should check out this arcade sports game. As a result, you have a fun game that you can play with your friends. Super Volley Blast was a hit with me, my friends, and my family, despite the fact that it was difficult to learn and moved slowly at times. While I wait for the next Super Blast game, I'll play Super Volley Blast for a while. Next up, InnerSpace. Every aspect of my adventure in InnerSpace was greatly influenced by how natural it felt. Everything, from the game's history to its main objectives, had to be discovered and deduced by myself. I frequently thought I was completely lost, only to discover that the key to my next destination was just around the next corner. Even though the controls could be improved, I grew to appreciate InnerSpace because it was such a lovely experience. I wasn't given anything, but I felt like I was making a map of the land and assisting in determining what had happened in this strange world in front of me. If you want a calm and easy-to-remember adventure, don't be afraid to dive into the depths of InnerSpace. Next up, Dying Light Definitive Edition. Dying Light Definitive Edition is a fantastic Nintendo Switch port. It demonstrates that you can bring a technically challenging game to the system while still making it enjoyable to play. This version of Dying Light features excellent mechanics, solid gameplay, and a challenging difficulty level. It also includes all of the additional content that has been added to the game since its initial release. A true gem and a great example of how Nintendo Switch games should be altered. Dying Light's Nintendo Switch port is one of the best I've seen. Sure, there are some frame rate and detail trade-offs here and there, but when you're playing on a portable, you almost don't notice. When you combine the massive amount of content, local and online co-op, and new features like Euro controls, you have a fantastic game that can be played anywhere. Next up, Mega Man 11. Mega Man 11 represents not only a return to form for the series, but also a natural progression of Mega Man's roots, allowing the series to finally move into the next generation. The series has undergone some much-needed and welcome changes in terms of how it looks and plays. The art style is polished and charming, but it still has an old-school feel to it. The platformer's tight level design complements the new double gear system perfectly. Mega Man 11 is a fantastic blend of the old and the new. It pays homage to the past while never losing sight of the future. Next is Mega Man 0/ZX Legacy Collection. Despite the poor quality of the stories, fans will find 6 games that are packed with content and entertaining to play. The Zero series, like the X series, features fast-paced run-and-gun platforming adventures. Zero can be leveled up in each entry, and both permanent and temporary buffs can be used. The Zero games are known for being difficult, but the casual scenario mode and save assist feature can help those who need a break. This collection is a fantastic way to pass the time, and you should definitely consider downloading it. This is yet another fantastic Mega Man game collection. This time, it focuses on 2 series that you may have missed if you didn't own a Game Boy Advance or a Nintendo DS. Next up, Mega Man X Legacy Collection. The Mega Man X Legacy Collection contains 4 of the best platform games ever created. They are timeless classics, especially the first, which is one of the best platform games ever made. For new players, the new Rookie Hunter mode makes this collection a great place to start, while veterans will enjoy the new challenges and bonus content. If you even remotely enjoy platform games, you should purchase this collection. Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 is more than just a collection of faithful ports on new hardware. It's also a collection of some of the best Mega Man games, complete with extras and love. Medals are a great way to encourage players to fully explore each game. An X challenge is entertaining even if it isn't always well organized. People who have never played a Mega Man X game should start here. Next up, Mega Man Legacy Collection. Mega Man Legacy Collection is a comprehensive homage to the classic NES series. It includes 6 new games and a slew of new challenges. The quality of the previous titles prevents it from receiving a perfect score, but this is still a must-have. We strongly advise you to purchase this one. All of the extra features, as well as the ability to play these games at home or on the go, make it an easy choice. The Mega Man Legacy Collection provides the best version of the NES classics, making it ideal for both experienced gamers and those who have never played the series before. Next is Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 The Sith Lords expands on the original, which changed significantly. What you can do in the story is determined by who is in your party at the time. Conversations between party NPCs can also become heated depending on who you bring along. Sith Lords relies a little too heavily on some classic Star Wars tropes, and the menus and user interface are dated. Despite my fears that my rose-colored glasses would fade, I fell in love with these unique characters all over again. Knights of the Old Republic is a fantastic new take on an old favorite. The story is entertaining, and the gameplay is interesting, despite the fact that the gameplay and graphics aren't always smooth. The missions encourage players to explore every inch of the mining station. Overall, it's a fun experience with an engaging story. Next up, Star Wars Republic Commando. The most important thing to take away from the re-release of Star Wars Republic Commando is that, despite its flaws, this game is a fantastic addition to the Nintendo Switch. Even those who dislike Star Wars will find much to enjoy in this story about a future war. Along with the excellent AI, the squad gameplay was innovative and still works well today. The graphics are the most obvious indication that this game is getting old, but once the lasers begin to fly, you quickly forget about it. Republic Commando was one of the best Star Wars games when it was released in 2005, and it's still a fun and interesting game over a decade later. This game is designed to allow you to jump right into the action. There are only a few cutscenes that explain the origins of the Delta Squad. I like being able to aimlessly shoot droids and see how far I could get. Star Wars Republic Commando is a game suitable for players of all skill levels. There are various levels of difficulty that allow you to go at your own pace. Next is Jurassic World Evolution, Complete Edition. Jurassic World Evolution Complete Edition on the Nintendo Switch is surprisingly enjoyable for a port of a major console game. Even if you dislike dinosaurs, this game is enjoyable for both sim fans and those who have never played one. It would have been naive to expect the graphics to be any better than on the more powerful consoles that compete with it. If you can deal with that, as well as the fact that there is a lot of small text to read, the trade-offs are worth the ability to take it with you. It has a lot of DLC and allows you to play while on the go. You can be certain that the first game's magic has been preserved. And last, but not the least, RollerCoaster Tycoon 3 Complete Edition. RollerCoaster Tycoon 3 is frequently referred to as a genre-defining game, which is an excellent compliment. Even after 16 years and several follow-up games, RollerCoaster Tycoon 3 is still fun, engaging, and difficult to put down. This game will fill that roller coaster-shaped hole in your heart if you want a theme park simulator that has a lot to do but isn't too hard or complicated. This game, which demonstrates how talented Frontier's development team is, didn't need to be redone because it was built to last, unlike some of the roller coasters you'll construct along the way. RollerCoaster Tycoon 3 Complete Edition is the same game you know and love for the Nintendo Switch. The new features make the game even more enjoyable. That's all, guys. I hope this video was helpful in deciding which game to play, and thank you for checking out the list. Please remember to subscribe and we'll see you at the next one.